So, I was partaking in the usual slumber session, definitely not partaking in any ban-worthy activities. That's when the game kind of went offline, and instead of acting like a normal human being and going outside, I instead went on Discord.
You guys know I was just kidding.
That's when news hit that Joseph had been kicked from the team. I mean, essentially the way I found out was by the time I decided to read the Minimania English chat, people were already talking about the allegations against Joseph, and in all honesty, I was too lazy to scroll up to read the chat, which is why this video is like coming out 5 years after this incident took place. There were people who were generally against Joseph, people who were in support of Joseph, and there were others. Around this time, it seemed like there was only one side to things, as only the Minimania team accusations were flying around. Without Joseph saying his side of things, people were already jumping the gun, which I mean, I personally can't blame them, because the Minimania team hasn't really been known for drama, so people probably thought they were in the right in all this. You may wonder what the accusation Sir Joseph III was facing, and really seeing this at first with no context, it seems bad. Him being accused of giving out 10,000 tokens to a few individuals wasn't even really the worst part of the accusations. He was also accused of giving out a wings wear, and also an unreleased wear. At first, it's like, how does one essentially even give out something that's unreleased? But Joseph eventually ended up dropping his own side to the matter, and first reaction to his response was. But essentially his response to the matter was a bombshell, as everyone quickly changed their opinions on the matter. What he initially talked about in his response is that he only gave out 10,000 tokens to the players he encountered, and that if it was possible, he initially would have given tokens to all players, but the tools for that simply aren't available. In regards to the accusations regarding wares, all he did was initially show unreleased wares, which are really just wares that we are aware of that just haven't been released in Minimania yet, to players who were in need of some form of nostalgia. As for the rares he gave away.
Really, nigga?
I beg your pardon?
What a nigga then begins to wonder is how it came from such a meaningless little item being given away to him being accused of giving away rare wings and even unreleased items. He also only gave out the bright sparkle to players who had been helpful in the community during a time that was filled with many bugs. The reason he also chose the bright sparkle as the item to give away, I mean, it's a pretty cheesy story, but back in the day when Minimundos first shut down, a bunch of their players suddenly jumped on Small Worlds and overwhelmed the staff while they were asking for answers to why their game shut down. A group of Small Worlds players then volunteered to help out during this time and were in the end rewarded with the bright sparkle. The whole purpose of the item was to just be a reward for helpful players and not for it to gain value and be resold. Joseph also gave out a handbag to a so-called special player who has been extra helpful. Some people then started suspecting that the Minimania team were looking for any reason to just kick him off the team, but Joseph made it clear that there had already been friction between him and the team that could have instead contributed towards his kicking. In the end, Joseph just took the blame for the whole thing, even though there were good intentions behind his actions. In regards to Joseph staying on the team, to this very moment I'm still unsure as to what the conclusion was, as I know some of the Minimania team wanted him to stay, but also, he said something about how he thought about leaving in the past too. Some people were also suggesting that him leaving would really hurt the game financially, but I'm pretty sure that would just be short term, because next day niggas would be spending money on the game again. But if Joseph really is leaving then. Joseph also mentioned how he had also been in contact with the Small Worlds owner to try and secure licensing for the game. Initially, whole point of this interaction was so they could secure source art, code and tools for creating content, as well as for them to be able to partner with payment services. In exchange for all this he would be given an ownership stake in the project. This all sounded good to me till they lost me on the mention of NFTs.
You think it's funny to take screenshots of people's NFTs, huh? Property theft is a joke to you. I'll have you know that the blockchain doesn't lie. I own it. Even if you save it, it's my property. You are mad that you don't own the art that I own. Delete that screenshot.
But all this aside, it would be sad to see Joseph go as he's the one who keeps in touch with us and always keeps us updated, so I do hope they come to an agreement and he stays on the team.
It ain't no discussion, they know we let it spray. We used to sit on the block and pray for that cash flow. Rubber bands on the bench, just watch how that cash grow. We still a sin for the block, but they know how that go. We still a sin for the block, but they know how that